Hey guys, welcome to another Mark and Andre review. Tonight's film was The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black, who is going to be filming the new Predator, coming out, and I think it's 2018.
I think he'll do a great job with that.
Russell Crowe and what was the other guy? Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling. It was a very good buddy cop movie. It was very comical, very witty, I would say.
Very witty, yeah. That's a great description for it. I like how the characters played off of one another. I think you at one point related the film to like a Lethal Weapon type of movie. I mean, you got these two individuals that are from two different backgrounds, and they come into each other's lives, and they have to work together based on the circumstances that they're in. But I mean, just, you know, based on the characters, I know we got to find a structure to where we can explain thoroughly what we enjoyed about the film. But as far as the characters are concerned, they were excellent.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, wow, they put on phenomenal performances, and just the subtlety of each of their characters. There's a lot of moments where they're making actions and decisions without exactly telling you about their life, and you see so much about their characters. I mean, they both start the film just kind of as these depressing individuals. And as throughout the film and through the experiences that they go through, you start to see a growth in both the characters and a growth in their relationship. Yeah. And I thought it was great. It was phenomenal.
Oh, a thing to appreciate, with this movie being a buddy cop movie, you don't have anyone that's over the top hilarious, and that's what I actually appreciated out of the two. They actually did remind me a lot about Lethal Weapon. Just because Mel Gibson's character in that movie was the loose cannon cop, but he wasn't that, like, he wasn't Chris Tucker or Eddie
he wasn't
Murphy,
outrageous,
hilarious.
Yeah.
But Ryan Gosling was the comic relief in this movie to the serious Russell Crowe, and I thought that blended in very perfectly to the whole subtle notion that, yes, this is a buddy cop movie, but let's focus on to this actual very, very good story of who actually was up to
who done it? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As far as the script is concerned, yeah, the story itself is very engaging, and the way that they designed the movie is like, well, in my opinion, I didn't see it as a comedy film. I saw it more as just a whodunit, straightforward film with comedy elements in it. But there were times in the story, it's like, you just want to figure out who's behind what and where is this person they're looking for. Yeah. So you just want to get to this conclusion. And they do a really good job of captivating you and keeping you going on that adventure. Yeah. And then also you have to deal with these two characters that really don't want to be involved with each other. Yes. And watch their journey together. Yes. And I mean, if you want to, I like to mention the daughter too. Ryan Gosling's character has a daughter, and actually she was an amazing part of the team. If you really look at it, it's like a buddy cop, and she's like that extra character, but she's not irritating like like Lethal Weapon, what, 4 or 3?
Yeah,
Joe Pesci's character?
Yeah, where they had Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci was the slapstick.
Right.
I need to be funnier than Mel Gibson.
Right. Oh, God. No.
No. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Inspector Gadget.
Yeah,
Penny was solving everything.
And Inspector Gadget's just doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But what I could really tell you is that you're actually going along this deeply immersed 1970s Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
The set pieces and the background to everything was actually done very accurately. I actually pointed out one thing to Andre about the gas crisis going on at the time, and they actually brought a notion to it. They brought a couple of the presidents along the way to, as they mentioned as well. And I really thought that with that, you're actually just being placed along this mystery, but there's slight chimes of comedy involved in it, which I thought most of the stuff was hit. There's a couple misses in it, but I mean, I'm thinking a lot of more hits than misses as far as the comedy goes. I was laughing quite a few times in the movie.
I beg to differ. Yeah. But I'll go back to the tone of the film and the set pieces real quick. The feeling of this film was perfect. It's like they captured the essence of 1977 perfectly. I mean, I haven't lived in the 1970s, but I definitely
I can tell you that I
definitely haven't lived in the 1970s, but I definitely felt the essence of the 1970s. That, you know, some films when they do set pieces, or not set pieces, but period pieces, when they do some films, they don't follow through accurately with how people speak.
Yes.
You know, they'll start using current slang, you know, like that was lit in like a movie that's supposed to be in the 1970s. But no, they followed with the slang, the way they spoke. Like in the film, they cuss, and cussing is like unbelievable to people back
seriously
then.
Was
it's
taboo.
seriously like a really big deal. So like when Ryan's character cusses or Russell Crowe's character cusses, people are shocked. Like, oh my God, watch your mouth. You know, I thought that was really amazing. There is a scene where they have a party. They end up going to a mansion for a party, and just the music and the atmosphere of this party is so 70s. They got it just right, and they didn't emphasize the use of psychedelics and drugs, but you just had that feeling, like that immersive never-ending party feeling. You know,
there's also a very humorous cameo by a certain group that you'll know as soon as the music hits.
Yes.
It is very. It's a good hat tipping to that group,
Yes,
and I think they've been overdue to actually be in a movie because I've never seen an allusion to them in film.
Never. And them being physically, having a
I don't
physical
think it was-
representation of them.
exactly.
Because if it was really them, they'd be in wheelchairs. Rolling about. But in regards to, you know, how, you know, the set pieces are, I mean, you can tell they went to certain parts of LA and they had to restructure the entire area. They put up older signs. They made it look old.
Yes.
And even the soundtrack to the film, they hung towards more 70s sounding music, and they really made you feel like you were watching a whodunit film in the 70s.
Yeah.
I won't say that they modified the film to make it look older, but it did have an older feel to it.
There was a transition scene with the Cadillac.
Yeah.
That you'll see.
Yeah.
That actually,
They do a montage
good
of
blend-in.
action. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a montage of like different 70s footage, and then they actually made that last shot of the 70s montage. It was their film, and they like merged it perfectly into current film standards.
Very, very
beautiful, beautiful stuff. But sorry to keep talking, but in regards to the comedy elements, this is where we kind of disagree on the film. The comedy didn't hit me. If anything, I feel like the comedy was a secondary concept to the movie.
Yes.
It's like they might have made this film first as a straightforward whodunit, and then they were like, we need to add some more life to this or keep people interested in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Let's have some more back and forth between these characters.
Yeah.
And they went a little bit harder on the comedy because I can tell there were like points where they rewrote it and they had to add a joke somewhere.
Yeah.
Because some jokes, like you said, they didn't hit. And I caught them more than usual, or like they were very cut
a lot
and
more
paste
apparent
jokes.
than otherwise.
I guess the standard of comedy nowadays is just a lot higher in comparison to what I saw in this movie. So like, especially we're fresh off of Keanu, you know, so that's not fair. I guess I might be a little biased, but when it came to just, I don't know, a lot of the jokes were very cut and paste predictable. You know, like once something started, I was like, I know this joke's gonna happen, it's gonna lead to this, and it's gonna make the scene move this way, and all of it happened perfectly. So that was my only issue with the film, is like the comedy didn't feel. I'll say the comedy was more subdued. It was kind of like
and that adds more evidence to the fact that you're not watching a straight up comedy like Andre would say.
Right.
I'm a lot more. I find humor in a lot of things. So like there was a ton of wisecracks and there's a ton of witty remarks. To some of the dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue was clever though. It was clever.
That's where it got me to laugh.
Yeah. Oh, it was very clever. The film
there's no deliberate jokes.
Right. There's no ha ha ha. Well, there's a couple. Yeah. But even like, because I was paying attention to the audience, you know, I didn't hear a lot of, outrageous laughter, you know.
Yeah,
it was a lot of just chuckles and like, oh, okay, that was great. That was clever, you know. But I didn't see this film as a comedy. But they marketed it as a comedy, and I kind of went in with the comedy mindset, but then I turned it off. And the film, the film isn't bad by any means. Yeah, it's great.
After you realize that it actually makes itself apparent that it's not that it's secondary to the comedy, then you realize,
it's an adventure.
Yes, and that's exactly what Lethal Weapon did to you with the trailer.
Did.
So The Nice Guys is a film I definitely recommend to people. I'm actually definitely going to recommend to people. Like if you watch this video, you're gonna hear that I recommend it, I guess. But it's the Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe play very well towards each other. You can feel the actual you could feel the life within the script because they're actually delivering them with a lot of sincerity.
Yes, definitely.
And one thing to appreciate too with that is the great amount of attention to detail that they put into this movie.
Incredible.
From the beginning credit, you see the Old Time Warner sign, the Old Time Warner insignia, and the soundtrack starts off immediately to the point where you know, with that song, with that Temptation song, you actually feel like you're taking the road to the 1970s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, just so much attention to detail. Every car, you know, like sometimes films slip. They do slip.
Yep.
This film, it was on its P's and Q's, man. Everything was perfect. And then I think one thing I didn't note was the cinematography.
Yes.
Great shots, great balance between characters. A lot of instead of shoulder to shoulder shots, we're getting stuff from behind counters. You're getting a lot of, you know, intense moments and scenes shot from a distance as if you were an observer.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the funnier parts, or the more witty parts, is giving you enough space between the characters to see everything happening in front of you.
You definitely feel immersed into the intensity of some of the scenes.
Right.
There was a pan out that I wanted to mention where you're actually going up the Bel Air Road.
Oh, man.
And you actually get a good shot of the mansion. Whether it was computer generated or not, it was still a great shot, great transition. And I'm still debating whether it was actually still live action or not.
I think it was a drone shot.
It might have been. It looked really good, and I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it away from him if it was. It was still. It was a very good movie.
Oh, man.
From start to finish, I think it was a very good buddy cop movie, and I think they've made a couple hints to an actual sequel. It doesn't have to deal with anything towards a plot, but there's like a sudden notion that they're gonna be together in some sense. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to see a Nice Guys 2 and see them build off of this.
Well,
I think Hollywood's actually done something original for a change.
Finally! I mean, it might be a basic concept that we've seen before, but they chose to use very interesting characters this time around. One thing I'd like to note, you know, usually when it comes to these kind of, you know, buddy cop films, it's two totally separate people coming together in an unlikely situation, right?
Yeah.
It starts off this way, like, oh, they're two totally different guys. But as you watch the film and they start to, you know, connect and relate, you realize these guys are the same person. You know, you don't usually see the same archetype of a character come together in a film because sometimes it doesn't push the story forward. You can't have two bad cops in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
You can't have two good cops in a movie. But in this case, they found a really creative way to get these two individuals that were very similar together. And it worked. It worked really well. So, yeah, they did kind of lead towards a possible sequel. And I'd love to see what else they'd get into. At this point, they're established. You know, it's kind of like Rush Hour, right? We had to get through the whole, you know, origin tale and get everything to going. Yeah. And then the second film just took off immediately. Yeah. So if we get a follow-up to this film, I think the next one will be a masterpiece. Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. The Nice Guys, Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe, they definitely hit it out the park with this one. A very good buddy comedy, and it kind of came into the right time after Civil War to actually get some critical acclaim, I think. I think it's due for that. It's a very good comedy. I recommend it. Andre?
To be honest, I don't think I'm going to recommend it. I'm going to absolutely recommend it. You guys got to see this. Just fucking... I think, definitely I recommend it. I think it's a very good film, but you have to go into it with the mindset that you're going to be watching a whodunit. Don't go in expecting a laugh out loud comedy.
Mystery first, comedy
Mystery
second.
first,
that's
comedy
what I
second.
can. That's
perfect.
That's a good point to get to.
So great film, and cinematography. Get that feel. The tone is perfect. Great movie. I definitely recommend it. We probably need to come up with a rating system. Who knows? But definitely, I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Keep in mind, guys, that you should tune into the Mark and Andre podcast. It's on Spreaker.com. /user/pay-per-review. You'll be able to find it there. And not to mention my other podcast, Pay-Per-Review Wrestling Podcast and the Retro Collecting 101. Other than that, you guys have a good day. This has been a review of The Nice Guys with Mark and Andre.